Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 228. And before we talk about thighs, I would like to tell you about my day. So, I said earlier today, today I'm a go hiking, which is something I enjoy doing. Hiking alone, I always make sure I just stay locally and I have my phone with me. Don't go way out into the woods or anything because you break your leg, you fall off a trail, and no one finds you and you die. And that's never fun. So, I was going to try a new mountain, which is over there, that I've never hiked any of the trails on it. So I drove on out there, first went to the office to pick up some equipment, which I had to do anyway. Figured since I was out. And I drive down the street, and I checked the website, just to make sure, because you never know what's closed, and everything's open. But the road was closed. The road that leads to the trailhead was completely blocked off. I could have pulled off the road and pulled out Google Maps or whatever and maybe figured out a way to get to a different trailhead, but nah. Nah. So my tire pressure light was on, and the dealership happens to be on that road. So I'm like, okay, what the hell? I'll take my car in to get my oil changed because I've had it for 6 months or so. Haven't been driving it much because I'm here most of the time. But figure, oil change, get the air in the tires, get the everything checked out. And they say, yeah, it's going to be busy today. Might be a few hours. So I went hiking. The dealership happens to be less than 2 miles away from another set of hiking trails that I'm familiar with. So I just walked on over there, did a little bit of hiking, came back, and still had to wait an hour before my car was done. And it was done, and they said, you need new windshield wipers, but don't buy them here because they cost too much here. Go get them at Walmart or something. All right. So that was my day. How was yours? So, before we talk about Monster Hunter Rise and its glorious thighs, I would like to talk about Nintendo, one of my favorite topics. Nintendo is, as a company, the worst when it comes to formatting and structuring surveys. Subjective opinion, of course. I know of no other company that just completely, utterly fails at surveys, quite like Nintendo does. So this week I got a email that says, we see that you played Project Triangle Strategy. Why not take a survey? And I'm like, it's kind of creepy. You're tracking what I'm doing, but all right. So I take the survey. And I am unsurprised to find myriad things wrong with it. For example, here's a real simple one. There are many questions on the survey that allow you a free answer. They just give you a text box to, within a character limit, type your answer. Free response. What do you think about this? Tell us what you thought about this. Typity, typity, typity. So, some of the boxes were, say, 500 character limit. Okay. But one of the boxes on the same page was 250 character limit. Why? Just pick a character limit. I mean, it's nice that it tells you what the character, question mark, parentheses, 250 characters, or whatever. or words, right? Not characters, words. A little bit longer than a tweet. Nice that it tells you what the word limit is, but it would also be nice if it had some type of counter so that I could tell how many words I had typed, because I wasn't counting. And I didn't know until I hit the next button and it didn't move the page. It highlights it in red and it says I'm over the character limit. Well, shoot. If there were a counter there, I wouldn't have hit the next button. But another problem with that is even though they're allowing you 250 or sometimes 500 words, different words for different answers, all of the free entry text boxes are only one line thick. So it is impossible for you to proofread. Well, not impossible. It's difficult for you to, it's cumbersome for you to proofread your answer because you can't see it in its entirety. Just make a bigger text entry box. It's that simple, Nintendo. In fact, just make the text entry box as large as the number of characters you want to fit. You know, if it's a 500 word limit, make a box this big that only fits 500 words. Whatever fits in the box goes. There are other problems. Problems like multiple choice questions where the answers don't really apply to me. For example, Project Triangle Strategy, as the name might imply, is a strategy game, a tactics strategy game. And one of the questions was something along the lines of, how often do you play these types of games? And the answer, the possible responses were, always, frequently, or sometimes. For me, the answer would be pretty much never. You know, rarely. Sometimes, I guess, is as close as... It's really not my genre, but it's a demo. It was free. I was willing to give it a go. But there are a lot of questions where Nintendo, or whoever the survey writer was, is making some bold arse assumptions about the person taking the survey. Don't do that. But the biggest problem I had, that I have with nearly all of Nintendo's crappy crap surveys, are portions of the survey that ask my opinion on things that the survey has already established I have no familiarity with. Here's an example. One of the questions asks, what path through the game did you take? Did you take path A, path B, or both A and B? I suppose it would be possible for a player to have not reached the point in the demo to some 2, maybe 3 hours in where that path splits. So it could have done with a fourth option. It's like, I didn't realize I didn't get that far. Maybe the survey is only sent to people that they know got past a certain point. So that may be moot. Don't know. But there was a question that asked me, did you do path A or path B or both A and B? I said path A. So the next set of questions were, what did you think of path A? Typity, 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 type. Next, what did you think of path B? I've no opinion on path B because, as already established by my answer to the question 2 pages back, I didn't play path B! Colon, open quotations, or parentheses, little smiley face, little emoticon so it doesn't get too heavy. Nintendo, beloved Nintendo, I love you, I really do. But good golly gosh and heck, you are bad at surveys. Please get someone else to do it. I'll do it. Pay me, but I'll do it. I could do better surveys than you. Your surveys are crap, and you should feel bad. I think if you put your mind to it, you could write halfway adequate surveys. Because as they are now, they are a case study in monumental survey failure. And that's not without its uses. I mean, we all need examples of what not to do. So, how you doing, chat? Uh, Free Kill says, hiking's great. Nature, fresh air, exercise, coincidentally, also good for thighs. Jared says, we get it. It's a bad survey. Cass is just type NA. Yeah, but when you do a survey, you have the ability, you should at least have the ability to branch to different questions. Or at the very least, put in a thing if you answered whatever, skip to question 75 or whatever. But I am just, for all that Nintendo does really well, and it does many things wonderfully, surveys ain't one of them. It is hilariously bad at surveys. I mean, just mind-numbingly awful at survey. I mean, just how are you this bad at surveys? This consistently bad at surveys? Because Nintendo, I was expecting a Project Triangle Strategy survey, because I often get surveys from Nintendo when I try demos or other things that Nintendo's hyping, and they're always terrible, poorly thought out, poorly structured, poorly formatted. I don't remember it being a problem this time, but there have been times when I've just given up on a survey because I have no earthly clue how long this survey is. It's like, oh my god, have I been doing this survey for like 25 minutes? I have better things to do with my life. If you're writing a survey and it's more than like a page or two, it is super important that you have a progress bar of some sort, some way to indicate to the survey taker how much further how much more there is. Because otherwise, impatient twits like me will just give up and you'll get no data. Unless you're tracking it as I go instead of submitting it all in bulk at the end, I have no idea. So, anyway, I hope my responses were helpful. Online is another thing Nintendo is awful at, says Matthew. Yeah. It's amazing how Nintendo is, for as creative and in many ways technologically amazing, it lags like a full decade or more behind everyone else in a lot of other regards. Like, they're dealing with problems that everyone else solved a decade ago. I mean, it's not surprising they ran into these problems. Everyone else ran into these problems too. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Everyone had the same problems. What is embarrassing is everyone figured out how to deal with those problems 10 years ago. I've said this before, but Nintendo, I know you say that you don't pay any attention to your competition. You don't. They do what they do. We don't pay attention. You really should. You should. Might save you some heartache in the long run. All right. So let's talk about Monster Hunter Rise. Let's talk about Monster Hunter Rise armor. Did I say Monster Hunter Rise? Maybe I should have said Monster Hunter thighs. So, here are a bunch of armor sets from Monster Hunter Rise. Are we noticing a pattern here? Yeah, we got some bare-legged a lot of bare-legged armors in this game. That's why I was on Twitter making a joke saying this should be called Monster Hunter Thighs. Now, to be clear, not every single armor has bare thighs. Off the top of my head, Magna Malo's a full suit. The Gasarog set's a full suit. So there are several armor sets that have all hail the thighs. This is Reverend Werewolf. Sounds like the Monster Hunter thighs gave you a Monster Hunter rise, says Matthew. Yeah. Um, Oh, that's that. Let me turn off my camera. That me moving in the background is probably a little distracting. There we go. Okay, so let me critique this here. I don't mind most of these, honestly. Um, let's take the Arachna Kadachi armor in the upper left. That's a dress, and it's super cool looking. I like it. Move two over. The one with the veil. That's the Somnicanth armor. That's kind of a veil, with the veil and the drapey cloths, kind of a dancer outfit. That works for me too. The one in the bottom left is the Kimura, the standard Kimura village uh, outfit. That outfit, the mail and the feel armor are ninja outfits. And if you're into Japanese popular culture, like cartoons and movies and manga and stuff, that's typically what the lady ninja outfits look like. So, short skirt with the slits up to the hip. That's pretty common. So I would expect the lady ninja outfit to look like a lady ninja outfit. So I don't mind thighs. Thighs are nice. I got two of them myself. And they are handsome. But there are a couple that I don't care for. Bottom right. That's the Acnosom? Something like that. The bird one. That looks to me like a knight's armor. So that one looks kind of weird that she's wearing shorts underneath the skirt. That seems to me like it would be a full-legged one. Not a huge deal. But the one to the left of that, the green one, center bottom row, that's the Tetranodon armor. Now this is the big, chunky, armor-plated one, especially if you look at the male set. This is supposed to be this really super protected, super armored thing, and she's wearing booty shorts. Which is a choice. It just... I mean, to be clear, I'm not offended, and her legs are lovely, but that doesn't work. I also don't like the chest piece. Her boobs look weird. So, yeah, I think she should be wearing pants with that one. That one is just really odd to me. Second from the left, top row. That, for some reason, is the Almudron armor. I don't know how you get Robot Cat out of Almudron, but Robot Cat, so I'm happy with it. But I don't know why she isn't wearing pants. That's another one where it just comes off as, no, it's the woman armor, so legs. So, lot of thighs in Monster Hunter Rise. Just something I noticed. That said, I'm really liking the I generally like all the armors. They're really cool sets. I don't care for the female Tetranodon one, not just because of the short shorts. The chest piece looks really weird. The rest of them are pretty cool looking. The Robot Cat, love Robot Cat. It's just the bare thighs stick out. It looks like she forgot a piece. The rest of them look really cool. Well, Acnesom, the bottom right, again, that's another one where it's like, did you forget to put on your pants? you know? So, let's turn me back on, off, 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 off. There we go. Nevertheless, it still looks like a cool game. Really looking forward to playing it. So, what have you been saying here? Cass says, I see no problem. Oh, no, there's no problem. There is no problem. I'm just critiquing the armors and what I think. Some of them most of them I think really work. Some of them come off as bare-legged just to be bare-legged. It doesn't work with the intention of the outfit, like the Tetranodon. You know, this one especially. This is supposed to be that big, chunky, armored one, and there's no pants. And I don't like the chest piece. It just looks weird to me. Overall, I like it. Overall, I like that big armored aesthetic, but yeah, there we go. Let's see. Matthew says it's chat's moving. It's anime. Armor doesn't make sense as a rule, but most of the armor does make sense. That's the thing. I just think Capcom dropped the ball with two, arguably three out of the, I don't know, 15 armor sets we've seen so far. Most of them I think are great. Like the Rachna Kadachi one. Where is it? There it is, Rachna. Like, that one's bare-legged. I love that one. That's one of my favorites. I think it's super cool. So, you're not upsetting me with bare thighs, but if the thighs are bare, there should be a reason. You know? For example, where's it? I didn't talk about it. It was the Great Azuchi armor. Where is it? This one. You know, she's wearing shorts. But the whole aesthetic matches. It comes off as almost a, deserty adventurer type of explorer outfit. It's cohesive. That one works for me. That one doesn't look awkward like Tetranodon or Acnesom. Both of those just look like, I look at those and I'm like, did you forget your pants? I look at the one in the upper right, Great Azuchi, and I don't think someone forgot their pants, but the ones on the bottom, I'm like, did you forget your pants? So, no moral judgments here. We've seen, 15 outfits or so far. I think 3 of them aren't as good, dropped the ball slightly in a manner or two. Sodite. I'm still going to play the game, and I'm still going to dress my character up all fun-like. Because there's nothing I like more than making my character look ridiculous, and she's beating monsters in the face with a stick. Revan Werewolf says Tetranodon is the only one that looks bad to me. I would say, let me throw them all up again. Throw them up. Yeah, of these 7, Tetranodon is the only one that to me looks wrong. Like the ones that I'm criticizing for the bare thighs, Acnesom, which is bottom right, and the Robot Cat, which is top row, second from the left. I like those outfits. I think they're super cool. I just think the bare thighs look weird. The Tetranodon armor, the middle on the bottom row, I don't like that. That one looks wrong. The other two, I'm like, I think covered legs would have worked better for the overall aesthetic. Tetranodon, I agree with, who said it, Reverend Werewolf. I agree that's the only one of the 7 that I'm like, yeah, that one's just not working. Because in addition to the weird bare legs, which does not match the aesthetic and what I interpret the intention of the piece to be. In addition, you've got that really weird chest piece. So, so we're dropping the score down to 7 out of 100. Nah. Let's see. What are we talking about? Anime pants are illegal. I'm looking forward to playing Rise, as am I. It's only a little less than 2 weeks now, so it's almost here. Oh, speaking of which, the demo was updated with Magnamalo. Did I try Magnamalo? No. Why did I not try Magnamalo? Because it's got a 15-minute time limit, and I can't be bothered. It's just not how I like to play the game. You might say, what's the matter, Andrew? Can't hack it? Don't think you can beat Magnamalo in the time limit? Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't think I can do it. I couldn't beat Nergigante in the World demo or Volcana in the Iceborne demo because I kept running out of time. I imagine it would be the same thing with Magnamalo. I can play Monster Hunter. I don't play it that well, though. I mean, you never know. Maybe I'd be able to do it. But yeah, I'll fight Maggie in the main game, and when I have a leisurely 50 minutes to do so instead of this obnoxious 15-minute stuff. It's like the investigations in Monster Hunter World. All the ones that were time limited at 15 minutes. Nope. Nope, not gonna bother. Tempered monster, 15 minutes. No, no. I'm a casual, leisurely hunter. I'm not. Run, hit it, quick. You know, no, it's no. I'm super casual. So let's see. Free kill. Agree. The green one looks kind of silly. All that bulky armor and a gaping hole in terms of leg protection. Yeah, looks like the designer didn't want to make a boob window, but wanted to show skin somewhere. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like, but it's not sexy if we cover up the legs. It's okay. They don't all have to be sexy. They can just be badass and cool. You can have a mixture. You got plenty of sexy armors. It's okay if some of them aren't overtly sexy. I mean, look at the male armor sets. Are some of them sexy? They are. Are all of them sexy? No. Is that okay? Yeah, because variety's cool. Yay, variety. Let's see. Freako goes on, and now I remembered about Nights into Dreams for some reason. That makes me wonder what kind of game thighs would be. Werewolf says, I'm glad that there's such diversity in the monsters in the game. World was mostly dragon subspecies and variants. Yeah, that is nice to see that we're getting the dragons, the wyverns, but we're also getting the beast monsters, the bear monsters, the leviathans, the spider monster. So most of the world and iceborne creatures were on most of the same skeletons. So while there was a nice broad cast in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, they could be a little samey because most of them shared the same skeleton. So yeah, it is nice to see that Rise is bringing back some different monster body types. So yeah, I like that too. Matthew says Yakuza 6 will be out on the PC in 2 weeks. Cool. Jared says, have you seen leather pants? I have seen leather pants. I've never worn leather pants. I have a leather coat, but I do not have leather pants. I've sat on leather furniture and it squeaks. So I don't think I'd want to wear leather. I'm sure leather for pants and clothing is a bit different than like the leather in my coat or the leather in couches, but yeah, I've seen leather pants and I've seen people in leather pants and does not look comfy to me. And sometimes it makes weird noises when you flex, when you bend at the waist or sit down or something. But I mean, if you think it makes your butt look great, leather pants all the way. Go ahead. Reverend Weref, I'm wondering why we haven't seen any Elder Dragons yet, with the exception of Chameleos. Is Chameleos an Elder Dragon? I didn't know that. Most of the monsters we've seen so far look to be low to mid-tier threats. Yeah, Jared was saying I was talking about sexy without skin. Yeah. You can absolutely... Yes, bare skin... Very solid point, Jared. Bare skin is not the only way to be sexy. Which is good, because I'm super body shy. But if I ever wanted to be sexy, I would have to find another way to do it. So, luckily, there are other ways beyond bare skin to be sexy. Back to Reverend Werewolf's one. Yeah, I would imagine the monsters shown off so far are, low to mid tier. They're probably saving the high rank stuff for later, or maybe we've seen everything. I mean, we've seen over 30 monsters so far. About a third of them are brand new. I would like a higher ratio of new to old, but I have not played all of the Monster Hunter games, so some of the returning monsters I've never fought before. So, like Mitsune, I didn't play 4 or Generations, whichever one it was. Well, it was probably might have been in both. I'd never played Mitsune before, so I played it in the demo though. So that was nice. What else? I actually have a list. Let me look. Let's see. Okay. So the new ones are Great Azuchi, Tetranodon, Acnosam, Magnamala, Arachnokadaki. Oh, Kadaki, not Kadachi. Bishaten, Somnicanth, Gosharag, Almudron, and whatever that giant snake monster at the end of the last trailer was. Other than that, we have Arzuros, which I've played, Rathian, yes, Rathalos, of course, Tobikadachi, yep, Royal Ludroth, yep, Great Ragi, yep, Kezu. I've never played Kezu before, so looking forward to that. I have, of course, played Giganox, whom I quite like, so I know people like to pit Kezu and Giganox against each other. Oh, you can only have one, you can only like one of the two. Whatever. Let's see. Pukapuki played, Anjanath, of course, Kuliaku, Great Baggy. There are Jagresses, so there's probably a Great Jagras that I've played. Great Baggy, I already said. Gyrototus, sure, played. Oh, Basarios. Never played Basarios. If Tetsukabra is in the game, there's a baby Tetsukabra, so maybe there's an adult Tetsukabra. I've never played Tetsukabra, so that'd be fun. Played Lagami, Tigrex, or Tigrex, Barioth, Mitsune, Zenogre. Zamtrios might be in there because the little ones are in there, so I never played that one, so looking forward to that. Volvodon I've played, Diablos, Rajang. Great Jaggy, we saw Jaggies in there, so maybe Great Jaggy is in there. Nargacuga, Baroth, and Chameleos I've never played. So, lost my mouse cursor. There we go. Bum bum bum. Epic stream. Oh, well, thanks. Matthew said it's no joke to say Monster Hunter World saved Capcom. Pretty clear we're going to get Monster Hunter World 2 on the Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC. Oh, I would imagine so. Yeah, saved Capcom. I don't think it would have been. I mean, it did really well. It's like their best-selling game. I don't think Capcom would have went under or anything without it. It has some other really popular franchises like Resident Evil, but yeah, it did really well for them. Let's see. Werewolf says I really want to hunt Lagiacrus. Hope he's. Oh, I love Laggy. Laggy's so much fun. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, the Ivory Lagiacrus was pretty much landlocked. It was a fun fight on land. So, for those who don't know, Lagiacrus is a big Leviathan snake monster looking kind of thing that was introduced in Monster Hunter Tri. It was the flagship for that game. The one where you had underwater combat. So half of that character's moveset is meant for underwater. We're not doing underwater in this game, so far as we know. So, but yeah, still, I would love to have Laggy back. Granted, I prefer new monsters, but seeing old favorites is fine too. Let's see. Reverend Williams says, I hope there's still a lot of high tier threat monsters in the game that we haven't seen yet. Yeah, I get the feeling that there's a lot we haven't seen yet. At least I hope so. I mean, if what I read to you, that 30 some odd list of characters, is the entire roster, keeping in mind that Chameleos is a title update in April, that's a pretty solid list right there. But yeah, I'd be surprised if we've seen absolutely everything. But yeah, none of the monsters really feel like. Um, I mean, they can tune them however they want, but none of them really feel like. We're experienced with most all these monsters, so they're like, yeah, these are all beginning or mid tier monsters, like you know, Arzuros. That's one of the first fights you get into. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Only 2 weeks. Matthew says Capcom's board was looking to sell Capcom till Monster Hunter World blew up. So yeah, Monster World kept to keep Capcom independent. Oh, in that sense you mean? Okay, sure. Um, Switching gears a little bit, let's talk about Monster Hunter Stories 2. Now, I did not play Monster Hunter Stories because it was on the 3DS, and I really don't want to play games on the 3DS. Uh, Puzzle games, stuff like Phoenix Wright or Professor Layton. I'm fine playing those things on the handheld, but actual in-depth involved games like RPGs and stuff, I don't want to. Also, I just didn't want to play stories because it doesn't look good to me. But Monster Hunter Stories 2 is on the Switch. So am I going to play that? No. Why? I'll tell you why. That's why. This little bugger right here. He can go right to hell. I don't even know what his role is. I hate him. I hate everything about that character's design. Screw that little guy. He's probably got that. He's probably one of those really annoying sidekicks. And now that they're voicing the game, he's probably got. He's probably got a voice like this. Hey guys, let's get. It's like. Looks like a character that I'm going to want to strangle throughout the entire game. Beyond that, though, it seems to be kind of Pokemon-ish, and I don't like Pokemon from a gameplay standpoint. I mean, aesthetically, I like the game. Gorgeous game. I think it looks really, really cool. Or, I think it looks aesthetically nice. But, I mean, Baby Kulu Yaku is adorable. But, if this guy's in the game, I, I want nothing to do with it. And I don't like uh, Pokemon style battle mechanics. At least as of I've not found a game of that style of battle that I've enjoyed. Maybe this one would be different. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. It doesn't come out till summer, and we don't know that much about how it plays yet. Most everything Capcom has shown us so far has been story related. So, we'll see. But yeah, oh god, that is a punchable character right there. That is a character design that just screams, punch me in the face! So, I mean, maybe he has a very suave voice. And isn't high pitched like this or something, you know. Oh, God, I want to punt him like a soccer ball. Anyway, uh, what else should we talk about? Oh, let's talk about Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, whatever order the title is in. Um, so a movie poster I found earlier in the week. Where is it? Here it is. So here's the Kong versus Godzilla. I'm sorry, Godzilla versus Kong poster. And the first thing I noticed is the eyelines don't match. Godzilla is staring at Kong's nose, and Kong is staring at Godzilla's forehead. So, I don't have Photoshop, but I do have a video editor, so I did a quick fix. There! There, it's all fixed. Now they're actually looking each other in the eye. I I mean, I know the one on the left, they wanted the faces on the same level, but I mean, couldn't you get assets where the eye lines are right, or couldn't you have fixed it in Photoshop or something? I mean, I don't even think my quick fix looks honestly doesn't look that bad. So, um, but whatever. Giant monsters punching each other. I'm there. Well, I mean, not in a theater, but you know, when it's on a streaming service that I subscribe to, and HBO Max, I think, right? Uh, yeah, HBO Max is not one I have access to, so bummer sickles for me. I'll have to wait until it's on Netflix or something. Let's see. Reverend says that character was the reason I didn't touch Monster Hunter game until World. When I saw him, I thought all the Monster Hunter games were cartoony Pokemon type games. Uh, you know, I actually don't mind I really love the colorful, cartoony aesthetic of Monster Hunter stories. It's really gorgeous. I really aesthetically like it. But the gameplay is not something I've ever enjoyed. That type of gameplay is something I've never enjoyed in other games. So I'm kind of cautious about it. But yeah, that supremely punchable character design. No, no, thank ye. Hey, let's talk about WandaVision. So, gonna talk WandaVision. Show's over. It's been over for a week. So, spoilers. If you've not finished WandaVision, uh, this is a good place to just stop listening and come back later when you've watched WandaVision. If you want to watch WandaVision. So, overall, I quite liked it. And I was sad that there was no more WandaVision this week. And I thought, oh, but Winter Soldier and Falcon, that's next week. And I was, aw, don't have anything to watch this week. But they had a little, like, 50-minute documentary behind the scenes making of thing, which was okay. So, you know. Uh, some of the flying in the series is very obvious wire work, but I had really no idea that Vision's entire head is a CG effect. They're just painting what's his face. I forget the actor who plays Vision. They're just painting his head. They're putting a bald cap on him and just painting him the Vision color, and then they're just CGing the rest of it on his head. I didn't realize that was a CG effect. I thought that was just a prosthetic. So Good on you, show. Good on you. Would it not be? Because I'm like, man, I bet he can't hear shit in that prosthetic. No, he can hear just fine because his ears are sticking out. It's all CG'd away. I did not know that. So pretty cool. I mean, other than the hearing thing, wouldn't it be easier to just do a prosthetic? Has it always been a full CG head thing? Even in Age of Ultron? Has it ever been a full prosthetic? Huh. Hmm. It was Agatha all along! Of course, anyone familiar with the comics, I think, was expecting that to be Agatha Harkness. Um, that damn spider is back. I swear to God, that spider right there just crawls up on my wall and hangs there while I do a podcast, and then crawls back down and hides somewhere until the next week. Because if I wasn't on a podcast, I would scoop you up and throw you outside. Whatever. I don't know if you can see it, but let me see. There's my TV, so it'd be about right there. Uh, no, it's small, so I don't know if that worked at all. It's a tiny little thing. Um, Whatever. So, I enjoyed the show. I actually enjoyed it more as it went along. I actually found the first couple of episodes kind of a difficult sit, simply because I don't like sitcoms. And the first few episodes of WandaVision were almost entirely sitcom. And I don't like sitcoms, so they were a little tough for me to sit through. Because it's just the format and aesthetic of a sitcom that, for whatever reason, just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't sit right for me. I remember I did a debut review for One Day at a Time, I think it's called, which is a show that ran for like 3 seasons. They got fourth on another network, but it's a show that a lot of people really loved and really championed and were like, oh man, this is such a good show. And it brings, in addition to being really funny and really well done, it brings some much needed diversity to situation comedy television, and it's really important. It means a lot to a lot of people. I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna like it, am I? So I did a debut review for One Day at a Time, and yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, it's not bad. It's a sitcom. It's perfectly fine. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. I just don't like sitcoms, and I'm not even entirely clear why. But yeah, so the first few episodes of WandaVision for me was a bit difficult to sit through just because I don't like sitcoms. But once it got away from the entire episode being a sitcom, then it was a lot more palatable to me. I also think the show did a really nice job of taking two characters that were cool in the previous movies, but never really had a chance to breathe. So you never really, in Ultron, Civil War, and the last Avengers movies, you never really got a good sense of who they were. So you could never really care about them as characters because they didn't really have the time to. We, as the audience, didn't have the time to get to know them. They were cute, they were fun, they were funny, they were badass and cool at times, but we never really got to connect with them in a great way. And I think WandaVision did an excellent job of making us really love these characters, which means that we are going to have this really solid connection to these characters when they next appear in subsequent movies, probably the Doctor Strange movie. And I imagine Winter Soldier is probably Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be something along the same lines. I like both Bucky and Sam. They're great, bolstered primarily by great actors. Same thing with Wanda and Vision. The actors are doing a lot of heavy lifting here, making the audience just really like these characters, even though we have not had a chance to really get to know them beyond, oh, that was cool, that was badass. So I imagine the TV shows are going to do a lot of that work. It's going to give us a chance to really get to know some of the secondary characters. Sam and Bucky, Wanda and Vision. Sharon Carter, I think, is in this. I mean, she's had a grand total of like 3 or 4 scenes in all the movies, so she's almost a complete non-entity. So I'm really looking forward to that. And some of the previews I've seen of Sam and Bucky have been really funny, like them arguing about wizards and sorcerers, and it's like it's the big three. It's like what big three? Androids, aliens, and sorcerers. And he's like, the hell are you talking about? He's like, every time we fight a major villain, it's either an android or a alien or a sorcerer. It's like, no, it's not, and there are no sorcerers. He says, "What about Doctor Strange?" He says, "There's no wizards." He says, "Doctor Strange is a sorcerer, not a wizard. It's a wizard, sorcerer without a hat." So I'm completely butchering it. It's actually funny when you watch the characters do it. But so yeah, looking forward to this stuff. Loki, we all love anyway. So that show doesn't have a lot of work to do to get us to into the character, because he's been around since the first Avengers movie, and he's um, always fun. So I mean, he's in the or I'm sorry, he was Thor. Uh, he's in all 3 Thor movies, uh, Avengers, and the last Avengers movie. So we've seen quite a lot of him. He's been a big presence in many of the films. So that'll be the first Disney Plus show we're going into already liking the character. So interesting. But WandaVision. What are we talking about here? Free Kill says every well, the last 3 anyway. Every podcast you say, that's not just a spider, that's a loyal member of your audience. Yeah, Spider probably just hangs out on the baseboard. It's like, dude, it's Molehill Mountain time. Skitter, 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 skitter. you know. Um, how's it talking about? Oh, WandaVision. So, clever show, well written. I think let me get some critiques out of the way. I think Monica was a little underserved. She was a really I loved how present and integral into the plot side characters like Monica and Jimmy and Darcy, I think her name is, are throughout the course of the show, and then uh, Jimmy and Darcy and Monica like completely drop out of the very end of the show. I mean, they come back again at like the very. Is his name Jimmy, or am I getting the name wrong? The Randall. What's his name? I forget the character's name. I hope it's Jimmy. Let's say it's Jimmy until I'm corrected. Until I'm the one that's not Darcy or Monica. It's Randall something or other. I think the actor's name is. I'm terrible with names. At least I'm not calling him Susan. Anyway, I had read somewhere that they originally they had shot but never finished the effects for a sequence with Monica and the kids in Agatha's basement battling Senor Scratchy the bunny. So there was probably more to her to do at some point, but she just kind of gets yanked out of the show in the penultimate episode, and then she just shows up at the end and is like, "No, don't shoot the children's," and she blocks bullets and misses one, and the kid telekinesis it out of the air. So it was kind of useless anyway. It's like, oh, well, that's the point. Although she does have a nice moment with Wanda at the very end. It just felt like she was underserved a little bit. Um, Jimmy or whatever his name is actually gets a moment at the end that's nice. Darcy just rams a truck. I mean, she shows up and then is completely gone again. Which, I mean, maybe we'll get a Jimmy and Darcy show. You know, Monica, I think, will show up in Captain Planet, Captain Planet, Captain. No, which Captain? Marvel, Captain Marvel. There's so many captains. Will show up in Captain Marvel too. So I'm not really worried about her. But I mean, you can't. Someone's gonna get left out, and who knows what happened with the production. I think they got most of it done before the pandemic hit, but you know they may have put the show together and go, oh shoot, we kind of underserved a couple of our secondary characters here, but you know, pandemic, not a whole hell of a lot we can do at this point. So yeah, you know, just some minor disappointment there. Um, Werewolf says, I wish DC could get their act together like Marvel does. They seem to not have any idea what to do with their characters, especially Superman, and that upsets me to do no end because Supes is my favorite. It's a difficult. It can be a difficult character to do. But interestingly, DC has done very well by the characters, specifically Superman, um, in animated form. They had a wonderful run on the character from the Adventures of Superman all the way through Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and including several of the, not all of them, but several of the direct-to-video movies. So it's not like no one working anywhere at DC has any idea what to do with Superman or any of the other characters. But I am kind of disappointed with. Oh, pardon me. DC's spotty track record with the live action films. They've had some good ones. I really liked Shazam and Aquaman and Birds of Prey and the first two-thirds of Wonder Woman. Um, but yeah, Man of Steel didn't do it for me. I didn't see Batman v Superman, and they actually called it that. That still amazes me. Or Justice League, or Suicide Squad, or Wonder Woman 2. Um, but they look awful. Wonder Woman 2, I don't know, could be good, but I haven't heard good things about. My sister saw it and she went, no. But yeah, you know, as I said, so they've been kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they do really great films, and sometimes it's just not working. I mean, one could say that Marvel's movies, while averaging overall averaging in higher quality, are built from a particular template. Some films stray further than others, but there's definitely a look and a feel to Marvel movies. Uh, while by contrast, the DC films seem to be trying a broader, you know, a lot of the DC films are really really different, are trying, and I think that's a matter of them really trying to find their footing. But I mean, you look at Man of Steel, and that is just nowhere even near what Aquaman is. You know, to just I mean, tonally, aesthetically, they don't feel like the same film, right? Most all the Marvel movies feel like they belong together for good or ill. Uh, but like Man of Steel and Aquaman, they don't feel like they take place in the same universe in a lot of respects. But I imagine that at some point DC will figure out the formula, the magic movie formula for its live action films. And at that point, the DC films will probably both enjoy a higher level, a consistent level of higher quality from film to film, and but at the same time feel like they're all made from somewhat of the DC movie template, much like the Marvel movies can feel like they're made from the Marvel movie template, even though they can be varied in tone and even genre. Um, so, but at the end of the day, I'm a big superhero dork and comic book dork. I want all these movies to be good because I love all these characters, except Plastic Man. Plastic Man can go right to hell. So let's see. Chaos says Superman is the easiest to do right. Just make him like he is in the comics, the big blue Boy Scout. That is what people like about him. I have not seen even a single clip of the dude who plays Superman on the Supergirl show, and they just spun that character out into Lois and Clark or Lois and Superman, or there's a spinoff with the new Superman, right? I have not even seen a clip of this, but I have heard from many people that this portrayal of Superman is so. Yeah, and I agree with Chaos to an extent. There is a kind of a default to the Superman character that most people would expect. You know, the big blue Boy Scout, just an impossibly nice guy. You know, the best of us. That doesn't mean the character has to be that way. In fact, the cartoons actually, and he later Superman in the cartoons later admits this, that he fell victim to his own hubris. Um, there's a lot you can do. You can have a moody, broody Superman. You can. It might not be what people expect or even want, but that is a valid take on the character. You just have to do it well. And in my opinion, Man of Steel doesn't do it very well. And from what I've seen of and heard of both, oh God, I'm having very sour burps. Yuck. What I've seen of and heard of Batman v Superman. God, I hate that title. Dawn of Justice. Um, didn't anyone working for Warner Brothers just like shudder in embarrassment every time someone said the title? But wasn't that an indication that it was a bad title? Maybe it's just me. And Justice League. The Superman just doesn't work. I don't think it's Henry Cavill. I don't think it's his fault. He seems to I mean, he looks the part. I don't know what his range is because I don't think I've ever seen him in anything outside of Man of Steel. So I'm not convinced that it's his fault as an actor. I think it's just those movies are not very, or at least Man of Steel, at least, is just not very good. I don't think Man of Steel is bad or terrible. I saw it in the theater when it came out. I was reasonably entertained. Um, Very drab ass movie though. They just sucked all the color out of it, which was disappointing. Um, I mean, seriously, if you haven't seen the movie in a while, go watch parts of it again. Look, especially Superman's suit, and remember what color the suit is supposed to be. it looks kind of this dirty brown color, especially the cape. The cape doesn't look red, it looks brown. Everything just looks kind of brown. Wonder Woman's outfit, I saw a clip of they're fighting a cave troll or something at the end. I guess it's supposed to be Doomsday in Batman versus Superman. I looked at Wonder Woman, I was like, is her outfit just brown? Where's the color? And they had a color desaturation problem in Wonder Woman, but nowhere near to that extent. To the point where Themyscira looked like it was suffering a horrible drought. um, what the hell was I talking about? But in conclusion, I have my fingers and toes all crossed for just good superhero movies because I like superheroes and I like comic books and I like the movies to be good. Marvel, DC, if Todd McFarlane wants to make another Spawn movie, go for it, dude. I like Spawn. I liked the HBO cartoon from the 90s. I thought that was fun. Go for it. Even the movie is kind of fun. Um, yeah, if it's good, it's good. I like it. And if it's bad, I'm just kind of bummed out. It's like, oh, that's a shame. I can't think of any superhero movie that was bad enough that I was actually angry. I've only been angry at a couple movies in my life. Babe was one of them. Yeah, the one with the talking pig. That movie pisses me off. But, you know, generally when I see a movie and it's bad, I'm like, oh, that's a shame. you know? Um, Superman and Lois is what it's called, says Chaos, and it's quite good so far. Ah, good. Glad to see it. Chaos goes on to say, Man of Steel, BVS, BVS, yes, and Justice League fell victim to bad writing. Yeah, I don't know about the latter two because I haven't seen. I really want to see them just to see them. I saw part of Batman v Superman because it was playing on a plane that I was on at the time, and I just so didn't care. I was reading a book or playing video games or something like that, and I remember I looked up, and Superman like was staring down some bad guy with a gun, and I think the bad guy with the gun shot him or something. Of course, it doesn't do anything because he's Superman, and then Superman just at like Mach 8 just rammed the dude through the brick wall behind him, and the brick wall behind that, and the brick wall behind that. And I was sitting there in my airplane seat going, oh, Jesus, Superman just murdered that dude. He's dead. He ain't just dead, he's pasted. There's nothing left to bury in that guy. Superman just disintegrated that dude. I mean, I'm sure he was very, very bad, but dude, damn, Superman, you can't do that to non-powered people. They won't survive. I mean, you can throw Shazam or someone through a wall. He'll survive. He'll be fine. But you can't just ram people at regular humans at full speed. They will die. I have no idea if I don't know if that human that he rams is supposed to actually survive, or if he does die, and that's the reason that Superman shows up in court later in the movie for some reason. The next time I looked up, Superman was in court. I don't know why. I wasn't watching the movie. I'm gonna guess it's because he murdered this guy. But, I don't know what was going on in the movie, but Superman looked like he really didn't want to be there, and if he was being tried for murder, I guess I could understand. I don't think at least when I looked up, he wasn't talking, he wasn't like pleading his case or anything, he was just kind of standing there brooding, being like, I'm missing my soaps. And then suddenly the courtroom explodes, and everyone dies, except Superman, because, he's Superman. And he's standing there in the middle of this flaming courtroom. Bodies all around the place, on fire, burning around him. And he looks just slightly miffed. I mean, seriously, there's got to be 150 people in this courtroom that all just died because the whole thing blew up, and Superman's standing there like, "Ah, God damn it, Mondays." I'm like, what the hell is going on in this movie? Again, I was not watching the movie, so I am almost certainly misrepresenting what actually happened. Um, but that was my take from just looking up from my book and seeing it playing on the back of the seat in front of me. So Lindy Lee says, I was so bored watching Suicide Squad. That is such a shame because I remember watching the trailer for Suicide Squad and going, dude, that looks fun as hell. And apparently it is just a jumbled mess that makes absolutely no damn sense, which is a shame. Maybe we'll get an Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. But we've got another Suicide Squad movie coming this year, next year, whenever. So they're taking another shot at it. So I hope this one's good. Because the Suicide Squad's a cool concept. So I hope it's good. Let's see. Cass says, I'm playing Breath of the Wild and in Hyrule Castle and the same dead guardian toppled over that blocked my horse. Oh. So that's a scripted thing, I guess. Huh. Reverend says, that guy was a terrorist. He had a gun to Lois Lane's head. Oh, the guy that he pastes? Okay. And he says, Lex Luthor did that. He was trying to frame Superman. Oh, the bombing of the courtroom? Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. One would think, though, that Superman would be horrified if he let a bomb go off and destroy 150 people while he was standing right there. You think he'd be like, oh, noes! Instead of like, oh, God damn it. I'm going to have to clean this shit up, aren't I? I mean, he just looks so annoyed. All these people blew up around him. And again, I don't blame the actor. He's probably directed to do exactly that, but Superman's having an off day. Let's see. I was talking about WandaVision. I liked WandaVision. So, one might wonder, will we see Agatha Harkness again? I think so. I hope so. She's a lot of fun. One might wonder, Andrew, do you think that Agatha is trapped in Westview until maybe Wanda comes and releases her? No, I think she's already out, and here's why. Oh, pardon me. It's established in the show that Agatha, pardon me, uh, can sever the puppet strings, so to speak. Now, granted, could be a different spell, but Agatha does have the power to, you know, turn that off. She didn't seem too terribly phased by Wanda's mind powers. You know, she does that woobly woobly thing to put her in a nightmare, and she immediately turned it around on Wanda. Um, we also know that she can cast spells now because the runes that were on the side of the hex that were keeping her from casting her spells, although I don't know why she didn't immediately fall out of the air. That'd have been funny. That's gone now, so there's nothing preventing her from using magic. So I imagine she can. Also, it was established that all of the people, even the regular people who were under the influence, knew they were under the influence. They just couldn't do anything about it. Agatha can. So I imagine that as soon as Wanda took the hex down, Agatha was able to immediately come out of it. I don't think that's of course that's completely up to the writers, but my headcanon is yeah, Agatha once the hex was gone and the runes were down, she's out of there. So that's my headcanon for Agatha. And I like the music in WandaVision. I thought that was fun. So, yeah, looking forward to starting in on Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier. Winter's Captain America Falcon. Captain Falcon and Falcon, the Falcon, and the Winter Soldier. Whatever the hell it's called. You know, more Marvel stuff. More Marvel stuff. And more Star Wars stuff. What's the next Star Wars stuff? Is it the Book of Boba Fett or something? Is that what's next? Or Mandalorian season 3? I have no idea what they're doing next. Um, Maybe more of the. Should I watch the cartoon? Do I need to watch the cartoon? There's a lot of cartoon. It's like 7 or so seasons of the Clone Wars alone. And then there's Star Wars Resistance and Star Wars the other one. I don't know. I like Star Wars. Maybe I'll like the cartoons. I should probably give them a try. I've seen the Gendy Tartakovsky. You know who I'm talking about. The original Clone Wars shorts, the ones that were only like 3 minutes long. I saw those way back in the day, and I thought they were fine. I mean, they weren't really. They were meant to be just real quick, cool things. Hey, there's the one with the squid head who's jumping around and Kit Fisto, I think it is. He's jumping around and swinging his lightsaber. Isn't that neat? Yeah, for 3 minutes, it's cool. Then I think like they did like 2 seasons of that, and then a third season. I think they extended them out to like 11 or 12 minutes, and it started bringing in characters like Asajj Ventress, and yeah, I have no idea if I have not seen any of that the CG animated show. Haven't seen any of it. I hear it's good, but I haven't seen any of it. So Winter Falcon and Captain Soldier, yeah, freak on. There's something like that. Do I like Obi-Wan? Oh yeah, they're making a Obi-Wan. I, I could care less. I suppose it's possible that I could care less, but my amount of caring for Obi-Wan is really low. Um, but then again, I had almost no interest in The Mandalorian because it was essentially Boba Fett the show, and I don't care. I like Star Wars, but I just want Star Wars to go somewhere else and hang out with some other Star Wars. We need to see other people for a while. I love you, I really do, but for our own sanity, for our own health, we need to see other people at least for a time. So the first show they were doing is The Mandalorian. And I'm like, it's just Boba Fett, and then of course they're doing Boba Fett, but after Mandalorian season 2, I'm like, the Boba Fett and Fennec show, yeah, okay, you've earned it. I'm in. I'll watch. So Obi-Wan, while I have almost not quite, but almost zero interest in an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, yeah, I'll watch it, and I'll probably really like it. So far they've been doing really well. I'm sure it will be good. I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, Rise of Skywalker. That was the last one, right? Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, Rise of Skywalker was really bad in my super humble opinion. Oh man, was that movie a mess. If it were not for the strength of the actors inhabiting characters that I already like from the previous films, I like Ray and I like Finn and I like Rose and I like BB-8 and Poe, and I like all these characters. They're super cool, but oh man, the movie they're in sucks. If it were not for the fact that it stars characters that I'm already into, man, I would put that all the way down with the prequel trilogy. Yeah, that movie did not work for me at all. It's the only Star Wars movie that I ever sat that ever confused me. Like, the first 10 minutes of the movie, I was sitting in the theater just in slack-jawed befuddlement because I was like, what is going on? What am I even looking at? Is that a giant pyramid? And is it floating? And does it have a lightning storm underneath it? Is is that visually what I'm looking at? I don't what? I have say what you will about the prequels, but I was never confused as to what the hell I was looking at. And the first like 10 minutes of Rise of Skywalker, I was just like, "Huh? Where are we? What are we doing? Who are these people? What is that?" Okay, what? So, yeah, not a not a great film, but I enjoyed mostly the first two seasons of The Mandalorian. So yeah, they've scored enough brownie points that I'll check out whatever they want to do next. Book of Boba Fett. I would rather you do something else, but okay, we're gonna do an Obi-Wan show. Ugh. I mean, if you have to, I'll watch it. I'm not excited for it, but I'll watch it, and it'll probably be good. I hope it's good. It helps that it's on a streaming service that I'm paying for. That's kind of part of it too. It's like, are you going to watch it? Well, I mean, I'm paying for it, so it would be financially irresponsible for me not to. Let's see. Wonder what Obi-Wan will be about. Well, it's got to take place before episode 4. So I and I guess it's going to be, I don't know, post Clone Wars, but okay, so between episodes 3 and 4, and before he just becomes an old hermit living on Tatooine, I guess. Yeah, I don't know who knows what he's doing. Probably rethinking his life choices. It's like, maybe maybe some of these decisions was a mistake. Hmm. I'll just leave little Luke with these people here in the desert. Eh, should I tell him to change his name? Eh. Clone Wars is a lot of Obi-Wan and Anakin. Yeah, says Jared. Yeah, yeah. I mean that's one of the things that I'm like, I don't I am done with these characters in this specific section of the universe. I'm just kind of burned out on this piece of the story when there's so much other stuff that's got to be going on in the galaxy, right? You know, do something else. You've got an entire galaxy. It can't revolve around these few people. Um, Reverend says didn't make sense that the Emperor was alive. I'm not bothered so much by the fact that the Emperor was alive. You're right, it doesn't make sense because they didn't really do much to explain it. My the way I would phrase my critique is the Emperor being alive was not narratively satisfying. Like, I'm not bothered as much by the Emperor being, the Emperor's alive, that's dumb. Well, yeah, I guess, but, I could have swung with it if it were led up to or handled well. I just don't think it was. So it was dumb, but also not fun. It just kind of sucked. Oh well. Although I did love, do I know the actor's name? Used to. I'd know it if I heard it. Whoever play Ian McDermott, something like that. The guy who plays Palpatine. Uh, that guy's giving his all. He's committing. and I appreciate him. I appreciate his ham. So so there was that. Um, I throw lightning at you. Oh no! I can barely block it with my lightsaber. Ah, but I have two lightsabers. And that shit, I didn't. Oh no, she's blocking with two lightsabers. That makes all the difference for reasons. Whatever. I don't care. At least the handing objects through the force was set up, so that was kind of cool. I mean, it didn't. I mean, ultimately, it didn't mean anything. So the victory doesn't work. It feels hollow. It's unsatisfying. Oh well, yeah, the movie was a mess. I mean, we've had nine. Well, let's count Solo and Rogue Ones. We've had 11 major Star Wars films, and five of them are good. Um, two of them are watchable, and four of them are just outright bad. I don't know. Uh, Reverend Werewolf says so. It's Obi-Wan, so it's just him being boring on Tatooine. I hope not. It's just you know what? Actually, I'm coming around to this. It's just a slice of life story. There no big battles. It, the Emperor's empire is pretty much controlling everything. You know, it sucks, but everything's kind of stable right now. So Obi-Wan is just kind of living. It's not really doing much. Just kind of, it's like almost no dialogue. He gets up in the morning, he eats breakfast, thinks about shaving, and doesn't. Throws on a robe, goes outside, and just kind of wanders around aimlessly. Sees a Jawa, just kind of half-heartedly waves. It's getting dark, so he goes home. Sits down, watches something on a hologram TV or something, then goes to bed. It's like this really boring, depressing things. 9 episodes. I've been wandering around the desert, being bored out of his mind. Occasionally, he walks over to the Lars residence and is like, "Yep, kid's still there, still alive. My work here is done." Uh, Yes, I don't know what they're. I imagine they'll. It's just going to be a new story of Obi-Wan adventures, and it'll probably be cool. I give it a lot of guff because it's just strikes me as kind of unimaginative to. It's trying to think of a way to express. I was thinking of the going back to the well analogy, but I'm like, it's more than that. It's like it's not just going back to the well. It's like somehow getting a specific portion of the well water out. It's like I mean, you got a whole well full. It doesn't really work because the homogeneity of water, but. Mm, Maybe if a well was full of different colored gumballs, and you kept going back to the well, but you kept grabbing the blue gumballs. It's like, okay, fine, you're going back to the well, but could you at least grab a different color of gumball? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. But Reverend Werrell says I'd like to see the origins of the Jedi and Sith. Oh, so a Old Republic kind of era thing. I think that isn't the that new book that they published a month or two ago. I think that's Old Republic era, right? I mean, they could do that. Pardon me. I'm fine with the current era. Like, I'm actually just over Jedi and Sith. I was pretty happy with the first season of Mandalorian because there were almost no lightsabers in this entire show. Just no Jedi, no lightsabers, none of that. Just something else. And I was like, that's great. Um, I'm not saying I never want to see a lightsaber again or a Jedi or a Sith again, but we've done that. There are other things to look at in this universe. Let's look at them. Again, for some reason this well is full of multicolored gumballs instead of water, and you're going back to the well, but you're sticking to the same color gumball. I just want you to grab a different color now and then. I love me my gumballs, I love me my blue gumballs, but get a green one or a yellow one or something. Please. just yeah, variety spice of life and all. High Republic, yeah, the one with the character that's literally a rock. Oh, I don't know about the character. I think there's a Jedi Wookiee. I think pardon me. I haven't even read any reviews of the books, but or book, but yeah, the High Republic. I believe that's what it's called. So, all right. I think that's it for the show tonight. Um, yeah. So, Sunday stream tomorrow's Sunday, so there will be a stream on Sunday. Don't forget. I think it's daylight saving, so if you live somewhere that does that, don't forget to change your clock, because if I start streaming at the wrong time, that's why. So we will be continuing on with the Trails in the Sky tomorrow, Chapter 4. So that'll be fun. And I did Brian's Patreon reward video this week, which was my predictions on what's going to happen in first and second chapter. So check that out. It's actually one of my best performing videos of the modern era of my YouTube channel. So that's gratifying to see. Glad you guys are enjoying it. So check out my predictions and don't tell me. I'll as I play through the game, I'll find out how wrong I was. So we'll continue with more Trails in the Sky tomorrow. And until then, I hope you all have a lovely evening. See you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.